Hello and welcome to video 2. I'm doing a purple layout today using 3 matching coordinates from the Mysterious Pastels range and 2 plain cardstock. I'm going to be cutting 4 of the pages down into 2x2 squares to use on the layout and covering the layout with those. You don't need to watch me cut all of these, so just fast forward this bit and jump to it all cut out for you. So thinking about your offcuts, so looking here at 2 different ways that I cut the paper in a square so that I can use it to mount, or as a long piece so that you can use it as a full sheet or almost full sheet. I'm just here looking at the squares and trying to arrange them, thinking about what I might want. Not really sure I'm liking this at the moment. I'm thinking about layering them, and then I think actually I'm going to cut them into triangles, which might work a bit better. So away I go to do that, and here I am back with all of the triangles to see how they go. Now I think the best thing to do is to use a distress ink, and I've used shaded lilac here to edge all of them. And again, I'll cut through that because you don't need to watch me inking all of these. So we fast forward that, but it just gives definition to the edges and just makes them pop a little bit. So this one wasn't quite clean, so I was just cleaning off the edge a little bit. Thinking about layering these down now, I take one from each pile and then start again so that hopefully you won't get the same patterns. Then I thought actually I'm going to get the spots one after the other, which I didn't really want either. And so I'm just thinking about where I'm layering them and not actually going by the line that I originally chose or originally thought about. So we're just getting all of these down now. Still thinking about the patterns and whether I like it, and it's coming along nicely. I do quite like the way that it is looking. These will all be put on point to point, so they will go straight the way across the page and will fill up the page quite nicely all the way down to the end. So I haven't put them down properly. As you can see, they overlap at the bottom, but that won't happen when I finish them off. Okay, I've just got my photographs here and I'm just putting them down, thinking about where I might like them. And I'm going to back them on the darker purple that I was using for the triangles and use a little bit of a photo glue to stick those down before I cut them, which is something I usually do. And I like the photo glue because it moves. You can move the photograph. Unfortunately, on this occasion, I accidentally moved it when I was putting my cutter down. So you can see me here realigning the photograph and putting it back into place before I cut it. You may be wondering about why there is a yellow post-it note on both photographs. This is because the photographs are of my 19-year-old son, who doesn't want his image used in my scrapbook videos. So the compromise was that I could use them, but I had to cover his face. Just wrote down the date there from that photograph because I have the date on the back of all my photographs, so that I can remember that when I go to do my journaling at the end of the page. And yes, just finishing off that and cutting what I can, or trying to keep what I can to use maybe later on the page. So I put down these photographs. I found a title that I quite like, which is a rub-on. It says Rockstar, and these guitars that were in my stash that I thought might look quite funky, sort of layered down and put at the bottom of the photograph. I also have some little hands in black, white and purple, and I thought they might look quite funky as kind of the crowd clapping and cheering around the guitarist. Not that my son is a guitarist, but you know, it just looked funky. So that's what I'm doing at the moment and thinking about how I feel about the page. I decide that I don't actually like it. It's too busy. So I think about taking the edging off and just having the triangles in the middle of the page and see what I think of that and how I feel about that one. Not exactly sure at this point what I'm doing with this page or where I'm going with it. So take everything off and I rethink it and I move the pages around for a bit before I decide. See me there, I slid that one down to the corner, and I'm half thinking maybe I just do a border of the triangles and we see what that looks like. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just moving all of them into a border around the corners and around the edges, and whether I want a gap and how I want them positioned. So basically I just tilt them the same way as they're going around the edge, so they make a nice complete border. Now I put my pictures down. Cat comes to visit, because the cat always comes to visit when I scrapbook. She just doesn't like not having attention. She's trying to eat my hands there, so I've had to move those out of her way. She likes to steal some scrap supplies sometimes. So I've decided that I like this, and I'm going to stick these down. Again, it's not something that you need to watch, so we're sort of going to fast forward this and jump to it completely glued down. So here's the annoying thing. The camera didn't get turned back on and the cat still wanted to play. So I have used the packaging technique with these paints to ink some paint down here, stuck my photographs in place and used the rub-on to put my title in place that didn't record. My guitars are stuck together but not stuck down on my page yet, and I am now just going to use some wet white glue that dries clear to stick down the hands around the guitar. I'm liking this page. I think I'm quite happy with it as it goes. My next page I'm thinking about doing my tutorial for is going to be, I think, a full-on mixed media. Now, you may recall from my first video that I have a little black cat that I put on my pages when I finish, and this cat is partially because I love my cat, people think I'm a mad cat lady, but also because my pages are so different. I want people to know in years to come that they're my pages, so every page that has a cat on has been done by myself. So I'm going to stick the guitars down. I've got some double-sided tape on them, but I also want to put some sticky pads. Having a little bit of difficulty trying to get the backing off that one and keep the guitars together there. So yes, so Kat has come back to have a look at what's going on. If you're interested, the cat's name is Candy Floss, but generally just gets called Candy. And I'm going to now draw some lines here on the page and write my date and a little bit of journaling before I find somewhere to hide my little black cat. Any ideas where I'm going to hide it? Sometimes it is fully out and visible, and sometimes it is hidden away. So this time I thought I might take advantage of that giant star in the title, and I do end up hiding my cat in that in the star once I've finished all my journaling. So I'm just journaling about this being the end of his life here with us. He was going off to university, so this was his chill out summer before he starts university. So I'm just writing about that. And yes, here I am getting my cat. There will be some stills of and close-ups of the page at the end of the video, but thank you once again for watching. I think some of the problems I was having in my first video, a little bit of strobing, has all been sorted. And yes, I hope you enjoy it. Stay tuned for a blooper at the end of this video. Thank you again. Bye bye. I said a blooper, not really a blooper. I was planning out this page and the cat really wanted to be part of the video, and here she is.